Okay, let's get going here. Hello everybody. Today we're going to be looking at emails, how we want to write new ones and how we want to respond to emails as well. Been getting a lot of questions about this lately, so I wanted to take care of that. And the way we're going to do this is we will look at a couple of example emails, we'll look at some of the rules we want to follow, and we'll analyze what makes a good email versus what makes a bad email. Plus, there will be some homework exercises to do. You can do those as you are watching the video, or you can pause the video and then start it again later after you've done the homework. Anyhow, that's basically what we're going to do. Now, one important thing to remember is I will ask you to pause the video sometimes. So when I say pause, please do that. Click pause and do some of the work on your own. After you've done the work, you can press play again, and then we'll keep going with the video. That just helps us all stay on the same page, and it makes sure that you're actually doing a couple of things too. Okay, let's start. So I want to look at writing new emails first. And to do that, we have two emails here. Here's one, and here's another one. There we go. They're actually both the same email, but they look a little bit different. They both have pretty much the same information, but they've been written slightly differently. So the first thing I want you to do is look in the information section of this YouTube video. You'll see both of these emails right there, and you'll see all of the other information that we need to do the work for the rest of this video. So I'd like you to read those right now. So please go ahead and pause the video, just like we talked about at first. Pause! Please pause the video and read the emails first. Go right ahead. Okay, hopefully you've read both of these emails. You read this one, and you read this one. And you probably guessed that this second one is a better version of this one. This first one is not a very good email, and there's a couple reasons why. I'd like to look at what those are first to start off here. So to do that, we need to know our basic rules for writing an email. And here they are. The first thing that we need to know is our purpose. Why are we writing this email? What's the purpose of doing it? Once we know that, we turn it into a catchy and pertinent title. Catchy just means, it catches our attention. Pertinent means it's related. It's clear, it's catchy, it's pertinent, and it's the title. That goes in our subject line in the email. So, let's take a look at that right now. Here's our first email to database team leaders. Subject, confirm. What? Confirm? Confirm what? We don't know what we're talking about here. This is very unclear. Maybe it's on topic, maybe it's not, but it's not catchy and it's very unclear. Let's come down to the second one. Subject, deadline for software registration for Zone 3. Aha! Good! This isn't the catchiest title, of course, but hey, it is clear and it's pertinent. This is exactly what we're going to be talking about in the rest of this email. As a matter of fact, we could make it even clearer, because we see right here the deadline for making this all happen is January 3rd. So I could take this part and put it up here. And I actually had a boss who did this. My boss would take the main idea of an email, write it right here, and at the end of it, my boss would write, no message. Meaning that all that my boss had written is this, and literally there was no message for the rest of the email. I don't recommend that because a little bit of extra information is often useful. But some people will do that, just letting you know. So we could leave it like this, or we could leave it like that. Either way is fine because it's pertinent. It's the main topic. It tells us exactly why we've got this email. Okay, that's step one. Step two, we want a greeting. A greeting is anything like, hi, hello, how are you doing, what's up? But some of the most common ones are hello, hi there, or simply an address like all. Um, these are some of the most frequently used ones. You don't actually see dear used all that much. Dear is what we like to use when we're writing letters to people by hand, but we don't see it very frequently when we're writing emails. Instead, in emails, it's something like hello or hi there. I'm American, and in the United States, we like to use hi there very frequently. If we're being a bit more formal, we would use hello. All is if we're writing to a group of people. Anyhow, that's what we'd look at for greetings. So let's come on back up here, and we'll see what we see. We start with this. Hello. And that's okay. It would be a little bit better if we said something like, hello everyone. That way we've got a person who's there. Or, hello team leaders. Either of those would be fine. When we say hello, we generally like to have a person or a group of people after that, not just hello by itself. Let's take a look down here. Aha! In this one we have hi there everyone. This is one of the most frequently used expressions in emails throughout the United States and in many countries in the world, as a matter of fact. So, this is a pretty simple one to use. It could be something different too. We don't have to say hi there. We could also say hello everyone. That would be fine too. Anyhow, so we see that right there. We've got our clear subject, deadline for software registration. We've got our greeting, hi there everyone. Okay, good. That's the first two things we want. This third thing that we want is, it's a little bit confusing. Positive note, personalize, establish common ground. Basically, this is one step that we take before we get to the main idea of an email. And it could be any one of these three things. A positive note is something that is just nice, it's pleasant. It could be something like, I hope you are all surviving. That's kind of a funny way of saying, well, I know we're all busy, but hey, you know, I hope we're all doing okay. It could be something else, though, if we want, for a positive note. It could be something like, usually I hope is an easy one to put in there. I hope you are all doing well. That works as well. That's fine. Personalizing is a good thing to do as well. It can just be, I hope you are all doing well for a positive note, but if we want to personalize, we want to focus on something that shows that, yes, I know who I'm talking to. This isn't just a general email to everybody. I know what's going on. Let's see here. So I could take both of these and put them together. I could say, I hope you are all doing well with the last steps in preparing the Zone 3 countries. I personalize here by mentioning this information. Now if we come back up to the emails, it's all about Zone 3. And it's all about this Zone 3 countries, making sure they've got registration complete. So I can do something like this. I hope you are all doing well with the last steps in preparing the Zone 3 countries. That starts with a positive note, and it personalizes. It shows that, yes, I'm actually caring about you and what you're doing. I know that this is what's going on. And that also establishes common ground. When we say establish common ground, that just means I want to show that I'm part of what's going on here. I want to show something that we have in common, something else that, perhaps not something else, but simply something that we share. That I'm part of the group. That's really the whole purpose of this section. Now, the important thing is establishing common ground doesn't have to involve all of this. It can be something as simple as just a quick reminder. This is very frequent. I say just a quick reminder and I skip the positive note and personalize, because what I'm saying here is, reminder, we've already talked about this, so this should be something that you're already familiar with. This is usually when we're writing a very short email about things. So those three things: positive note, personalize, establish common ground. And the thing is, in each case here, it should be related to the topic. Oh, I can't type. By this I mean, whatever the email's about, whatever we say here needs to be related. So if I'm having a positive note to start off with, I don't want to say, hey, the local football team is doing really well, right? I don't want to say something like, wow, I saw a rainbow yesterday, or whatever, two pandas are deeply in love right now. I don't want to do anything like that. I want it to be related to the topic at hand. So, let's come back up here and see what we got. First email. Subject confirm. Oh dear, we already said not good. Hello. Yeah, not great. Next up. How was your weekend? The weather is getting very cold. Uh-oh. There's a problem. And the problem here is, well, it's not really related to anything. It's trying to personalize things, but, boy, it's just not working all that well. On the other hand, if we come down here, we get, hi there, everyone. Just a reminder to everyone. Ooh, that's not great. Hi there, everyone. Just a reminder to everyone. Probably better to just say, just a reminder, because I don't want to say everyone twice in a row. But that's fine right here. Just a reminder, establishing common ground, saying, this is something we talked about already. So we see this doesn't really work all that well here because it's not related. This one down here, even though it's short, is okay because it's a reminder. It's establishing common ground. Now let's come back up here and see if we could take this and make it a little bit better. I could quite easily make this on topic. I can simply do something like this. I hope that you are doing well with the Zone 3 countries, even in this cold weather. Done. And now I can move on after that. I made it more on topic by specifically saying, okay, it should be about the Zone 3 countries. And I personalized a little bit by saying, oh yeah, the weather is cold right now. Okay, great. That's fine. So, first 3 steps. We make sure we know our purpose. We put it in our title. We have a greeting, hello, hi there, something like that. We have a positive note, personalization, or some sort of common ground. And again, if it's just a reminder, we don't need to go through all the other details of hi, how are you, or whatever else. Next item of business, get to the point quickly. This is very, very important. That's why, when we're up here, if I leave it like this and I say, here's an entire section that just says, how was your weekend? The weather is getting very cold. As an English speaker myself who's had to deal with many different ways of reading and writing emails, this is one of the things that always drives me nuts. Saying, well, why is this here? What's the point? Is this important? Where are we going with this? The faster we can get to the point, the better. We don't want a lot of extra information in there. So, like we looked at down here, positive note, personalize, establish common ground, but always has to be related. We don't want to have extra stuff like this. It's better to get rid of it and say, just a reminder. That's simple. Try to get to the point quickly, which is what we see in this second email. Please take a moment to check with your Zone 3 countries to make sure they've completed the registration of the latest version of our software. We're getting to the point pretty quick, like saying, look, I want you guys to check this. Please do. Got to make sure it's done. So, we've gone through these steps so far. Identify purpose. Make that into your title. Make it clear. Put a little greeting up there. Hello, hi there. Doesn't have to be too terribly formal. Some sort of positive note, personalize, establish common ground. Again, hey, hope everybody's surviving. Hope you're all doing well with the assignment. Hope you're managing to take care of all of the accounts right now. Establish common ground. Just a reminder, just wanted to let you know again, make sure that it's related to the topic at hand. Get to the point quickly. Don't make people wait. We want to get to the point very quickly. Don't have an entire paragraph about extra information. Next up, and this is tricky, keep it formal and polite. Remember that anyone could read this. And I'll put this right underneath. It's an email. It's not a conversation. This is a really, really big deal. One of the key mistakes that people make, and this has nothing to do with native or non-native speakers. Native speakers make this mistake every day, all the time. We forget that this is an email. This isn't just chatting with a friend. This isn't writing text messages back and forth. This is an email. This is something that people could take to a courtroom if they wanted to. Your grandmother might see this on the news. Oh God. So we want to keep it formal and polite. That's the big thing to remember here. With that in mind, formal. Formal means we want to use appropriate vocabulary. We don't want to use any curse words. We don't want to use a lot of slang. Polite. Polite means we don't want to be very emotional in what we're saying here. We want to be fairly detached. So we don't want to have a lot of accusations. We don't want it to sound angry. We don't want it to sound sad. We don't want it to sound too terribly happy. We want to avoid these things and kind of step back. So, with that in mind, let's take a peek at the first email. All right. Subject confirm. Well, not great. Hello, not great, but whatever. We fixed this a little bit. Just a reminder. You need to check with your Zone 3 countries to make sure they have completed the registration for the latest version of our software. This is a little bit impolite, and the reason that it's a little bit impolite is it's a direct command almost. Now this is not actually a command. It's not saying, sorry, let's fix this here. If it were direct command, it would be check with your Zone 3 countries to do. That's even worse. Really, that's even worse. What we have here instead is you need to check with your Zone 3 countries. Instead of doing that, you need to check. This is almost like what your parents would say to you as they're pointing their finger right in your face saying, you need to clean your bedroom. Oh God, we don't want to hear that. Instead, something like, please check with your Zone 3 countries. That's a little bit nicer. This is actually a command form, but it's acceptable in an email. Again, you don't want to necessarily do this when you're talking either. This is just for an email. Next up, you must instruct them to go to the About column and follow the registration link. Again, the same thing. You must instruct them. This is sounding like you have no option. This is the only thing that can happen. The simple way to fix that? Please instruct them to go into the About column. And then it is not acceptable to forget this. Only a fool would do so. Oh dear. This is really, really rude sounding. This makes it sound like a particular person is angry. I'm not even sure why. It's just saying, it is not acceptable to forget this. Only a fool would do so. That's how it sounds when we read it. So instead of that, it's better to just boop, get rid of it. There's no point in putting emotional language in there if you don't need it. Now, are there times when it's good to write this? Yeah, actually. Sometimes it's appropriate. Not this part. Don't say only a fool would do so. But this part right here, it is not acceptable to forget this. Sometimes if you're a boss, if you're a manager, and you really need to communicate something clearly, you can do this. It sounds rude, it sounds impolite. Sometimes you have to be rude and impolite if you're a boss, though. I'll leave the decision to you. Just remember, If you aren't trying to be impolite, this sounds impolite, so try to avoid it. Boop! Same thing. Confirm this by sending me an email stating you've spoken with your Zone 3 countries, or you will be punished. Oh, God. Next up. Same thing like we already looked at. Please confirm this. Looks a little bit nicer, definitely. And this next part, or you will be punished. Oh, dear. Again, are there times that you need to do this? Yeah. If there's someone who's been breaking the rules constantly and you need to send a very, very clear message to them that you're angry and this needs to be done, well, then you can put this in there. But if you're not trying to sound impolite, it's better to get rid of that. Please keep that in mind. Okay, let's take a look at that same thing, the idea of being formal and polite, down here. Just a reminder, please take a moment to check with your Zone 3 countries. Aha! Here we've got the please already, right? And we have something else too. Please take a moment to. This is what we call a hedge. Please take a moment to do something. This is not just saying please do it, it's saying please take a moment, which is backing off a little bit. A hedge is just a little hesitation. It's a little separation between you and a command that you are making. It makes it a bit more polite. So we see this. Please take a moment to. And once we get that to, we take this next part, which is going to be a verb, and we use the root verb form here. Please take a moment to check. If I used a different verb, I could say, please take a moment to ensure. Please take a moment to revise. Please take a moment to review. Whatever it might be. But we're going to use the root verb form right there. Alright, so we end up with that. Please take a moment to check with your Zone 3 countries, blah, blah, blah. Okay. If they have not done so, please instruct them to go into... Same thing. Most of the language right there is relatively polite. We don't have any emotion being talked about. We see this right here. It's very important to get this done quickly to avoid a nasty situation for us all, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing here that says you will be punished or only a fool would do so. We don't see anything highlighted saying it's not acceptable. None of that. The only thing that's in bold here is this. The deadline for making this all happen is January 3rd, which is just straight information. It's not saying you're going to be punished. It's not saying you're a horrible person if you don't do this. And there's actually another little hesitation here. This exclamation point. The exclamation point is generally an expression of emotion. We use it here with the bold text to basically show I'm not trying to be too terribly formal about this information. I just want you to know the information. So it's a way of softening it. If I change it instead, say, the deadline for making this all happen is January 3rd. Ooh, this sounds kind of scary now. This sounds like I'm a little bit upset or maybe I'm worried. Which, again, is fine if we want to do that. If we want to sound worried or a little bit upset, then we do that. If not, just put a little exclamation point in, and we sound like we're not upset. Okay, next up we see make sure to confirm this, which is not the same as saying confirm this. Confirm this is a straight command. This is also a command. Make sure to confirm this. But again, we've got a little bit of a hedge there. Make sure to confirm this. Instead of just saying confirm it with one straight command, we put a little bit of a hedge here. Remember I said this is a hedge as well. It's that little bit of separation between me and the command. That's what we've got right here too. Now again, are there times that we want to say confirm this? Yeah, when we're trying to make it clear that we're upset. When we're trying to make it clear that we're upset, yes, a direct command, easy. But if we're not trying to do that, then we put a small hedge in there to show that, look, everything's okay. I just want to make sure that we're making this happen. And that's basically that. So, as we've already said, there we go. We identify purpose, put that into our title. Put a greeting, hi, hello, how's it going? Something along those lines. A positive note, something related. We get to the point quickly. We keep it formal and polite. Just remember, anybody could read this. It might be on the news. And then we end with a thanks, a farewell, and contact information. Your contact information is just your email address, your phone number, whatever it might be. And usually, if you're working in a business or a company, that's already provided for you as part of your automatic signature. If not, then make sure that when you're looking at your contact information, you've got your phone number, and your email address at the bare minimum. Those two things are generally what we would expect to see. If you're working in a bigger company, then you would want your fax number, maybe other contact information, your Skype name if you're doing a lot of business that way. But if you're working in a big company, you've probably got all of that already. So let's look at what we have here. Thanks, farewell, and contact info. Up at the top. That is all. Oh my goodness gracious. This does not work. This definitely does not work. That is all is not acceptable, not by any standard. Instead, pretty simple, we could say thanks, followed by a name right here. That's fine. That's certainly fine. Another thing that works very well instead of thanks is regards. Regards is fine. That's one that's pretty acceptable all around the world. In some places, you'll see cheers. Cheers is okay too. If you try to use cheers in the United States, people will probably make fun of you. But almost every other country in the world, this is fine. This is normal. It's really just the United States that's kind of weird with that one. For all the rest of the world, including the United States, regards is fine. That's a good one to end with. Either regards or, thanks. Either one of these would be fine. Don't put them both, though. One or the other. Now let's come down and look at the next one. There we've got a thanks. Oh, and there's one other thing. Here we've got contact information. Up here, no contact information. Whoops, that's not good. So that's one important thing to remember. If there's no contact information, it's not exactly a good thing. And that's basically that. Those are the things that we want to make sure we have when we are writing an email. A good title that identifies the purpose, a good greeting. We want to have some sort of note to start it off that establishes common ground or starts on a positive personal note. Has to be related to our topic. We want to get to the point quickly. Don't write a lot about things that aren't necessary. We want to keep it formal and polite. We want to remember, other people could be reading this. We say thanks, we say bye-bye, whatever it might be, and we leave our contact information. And that's basically it. If you're doing these things, you'll write a pretty decent email. There's one other really important thing to remember, and that's this, TLDR, too long, didn't read. If your email is too long, people will not read it. This one right here, the second email, this is about as long as you want most emails to be. Anything longer than that, and people are probably not going to read them. As a matter of fact, if you do write an email that's longer than this, it's a good idea to start by saying, something along these lines. This is a long email. Just warning you, please read it only when you have the time. That's a polite thing to do because, as we all know at this point, we get hundreds of emails, even everyday people just sitting around at home, we get spam emails, we get junk emails, we get emails from grandma with recipes and sometimes terrible things from Fox News, who knows. So if you're writing a really long email, make sure to warn people. Sorry, this is a really long email. Please read it when you have the time. Otherwise, people will probably not read it. That's just how it happens. And the last thing, always provide an introduction and background before asking, commanding, or demanding. Or make sure that that is already clear. Because if you don't, it's going to sound like you're very arrogant. If that's what you want, like we've said with other things, then go ahead, but otherwise try to avoid it. We have to be careful with that. So that's basically that right there. Alright, this video has gotten pretty long so far, so what I'm going to do is cut this one off right here with a little bit of homework. And we'll start with another video looking at how we would fix the homework, and then look at how we will reply to emails after that. So, here's your homework. This, I kid you not, this is an actual email. And I will tell you this too, this was written by a native English speaker. And it's full of all sorts of issues here. Including one issue that we haven't talked about. This is a bit of a trick. So I want to see if you can figure this out. The homework is, see if you could take this email and, using these rules, see if you can make it into an appropriate email. There are a lot of things that are inappropriate here, things that simply do not work. And one other thing I want to point out in looking at this. Look at this email, and then look at these two. This email still does not look very good. This email looks a little bit better. In particular, I'll point this out. Look at this. Look at this. Now look at this. Dip, dip, dip. Now, look at this. So please keep that in mind. Our homework is just that. See if you can take this email and make it look better. On our next video, I'll go through and see how we can actually do that. So good luck, and I will see you in the next video.